Dwayne Douglas Johnson's life is one of the most dramatic, emotionally complex, and culturally influential journeys in modern entertainment. A story that begins long before fame, muscles, money, or movie premieres, rooted instead in legacy, struggle, rejection, reinvention, and relentless belief. He was born on May 2, 1972, in Hayward, California, into a family where professional wrestling was not just a career, but a bloodline. His father, Rocky Johnson, was a trailblazer in wrestling history, one of the first black wrestlers to win the WWF Tag Team Championship. And his maternal grandfather, Peter Maivia, was a legendary Samoan wrestler revered across the Pacific Islands. This heritage placed enormous expectations on Dwayne from birth, but it also exposed him early to instability. His childhood was far from glamorous. The family moved constantly, living in Hawaii, Pennsylvania, and other places, often struggling financially. There were times when they were evicted, times when his parents argued over money, and moments when young Dwayne watched his father work endlessly just to keep the family afloat. By his own admission, he was a troubled kid for a while, getting into fights, stealing, and rebelling. Not because he was bad at heart, but because he felt lost and angry. Wrestling was around him, but his early dream was not to follow that path. Instead, he wanted to escape hardship through football. Blessed with rare physical gift size, speed, power, he excelled in high school football and earned a full scholarship to the University of Miami, one of the most competitive programs in the United States. At Miami, he was part of a national championship-winning team in 1991, training alongside future NFL stars. At that point, his future seemed clear. The NFL, fame, wealth, and stability. But life intervened harshly. Despite his talent, injuries and depth chart competition limited his playing time, and when he entered the NFL draft, he went undrafted. His final attempt came in the Canadian Football League with the Calgary Schooners, a last chance to keep his football dream alive. That dream ended abruptly when he was cut from the team after just 2 months, at 23 years old, with only $7 left in his pocketa. Fact he later immortalized in the name of his production company. $7 Productions. Dwayne Johnson returned home, devastated, depressed, and directionless. This moment was the lowest point of his life, a psychological collapse where identity, ambition, and self-worth all crumbled at once. Yet it was also the moment of rebirth. With football gone, he turned reluctantly toward wrestling, the very world he once resisted. He trained under Pat Patterson and others, enduring brutal physical conditioning and constant skepticism. When he debuted in WWE, then WWF, in 1996 as Rocky Maivia, he was pushed aggressively as a smiling, heroic babyface. The audience rejected him completely. Chants of "Die, Rocky! Die" echoed through arenas. Many performers would have broken under that humiliation, but Johnson did something extraordinary. He listened. He studied crowd psychology, sharpened his mic skills, and reinvented himself as a villain. The Rock was born a charismatic, arrogant, sharp-tongued persona that blended humor, confidence, and intensity like nothing wrestling had ever seen. His transformation was explosive. He became one of the most electrifying talkers in entertainment history, delivering catchphrases that entered global pop culture and feuding with icons like Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, The Undertaker, and Mick Foley. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, The Rock was not just a wrestling star. He was the face of the WWE during its most successful era, the Attitude Era, selling out arenas worldwide and drawing millions of viewers weekly. Yet, even at the peak of wrestling fame, Johnson was thinking ahead. He understood something few wrestlers did. Wrestling fame is powerful but fragile. Injuries, age, and changing trends can end careers overnight. Acting had always intrigued him, and he began testing the waters with small roles, starting with television appearances and then his first major film role as the Scorpion King in The Mummy Returns in 2001. His performance was physically commanding, and though the CGI of the time aged poorly, Hollywood noticed his screen presence. In 2002, he starred in The Scorpion King, becoming one of the highest-paid first-time leading actors in Hollywood history. The transition, however, was not smooth. Many in the film industry viewed him as just a wrestler, doubting his acting range and longevity. Early films like The Rundown and Walking Tall showed promise. But box office inconsistency and typecasting threatened his momentum. Worse, he made a critical decision that almost derailed his career, trying to distance himself from wrestling completely. He stopped using The Rock, avoided WWE references, and pursued roles that downplayed his physicality. This strategy backfired. Audiences didn't connect with him, and his career stalled. By the late 2000s, Dwayne Johnson faced another crossroads, eerily similar to his post-football despair. Once again, reinvention became his salvation. This time, he embraced everything he was instead of running from it. He returned to WWE in 2011, reconnecting with fans who never stopped loving him, and simultaneously reshaped his Hollywood brand. He leaned into action, charisma, humor, and authenticity. Films like Fast Five transformed him into a global box office force, redefining the Fast and Furious franchise and turning him into a symbol of unstoppable strength and confidence. From there, his rise was meteoric. He became one of the most bankable stars in the world, headlining massive franchises like Jumanji, Rampage, San Andreas, Hobbs and Shaw, and Jungle Cruise. His appeal crossed demographics. Children loved his humor, adults admired his work ethic, athletes respected his discipline, and entrepreneurs studied his branding genius. Beyond acting, Johnson evolved into a business empire. Seven Bucks Productions produced films, TV shows, and documentaries. He co-founded Terramana Tequila, which became one of the fastest-growing spirits brands ever. He invested in fitness, apparel, and sports ownership, including becoming a co-owner of the XFL, bringing his journey full circle by supporting football players chasing dreams like his once was. Throughout all this success, his personal life remained deeply important. He openly discussed struggles with depression, the pain of watching his parents fight, the lessons learned from divorce, and the responsibility of fatherhood. His public persona as a relentlessly positive, disciplined figure was not an act, but a coping mechanism forged through hardship. Every 4 a.m. workout, every motivational post, every message about gratitude was rooted in lived experience, not marketing slogans. In recent years, Johnson's career has entered a more complex phase. While still one of the biggest stars on earth, he has faced public scrutiny, box office disappointments, and debates about creative control, particularly surrounding projects like Black Adam. Instead of retreating, he responded with transparency, acknowledging failures and emphasizing long-term vision over short-term wins. He has increasingly expressed interest in more dramatic, challenging roles that explore vulnerability, legacy, and cultural identity, particularly stories connected to his Samoan roots. His upcoming and future projects suggest a shift toward meaningful storytelling, historical epics, and emotionally grounded performances that could redefine his acting legacy yet again. Beyond entertainment, many speculate about his future in politics or global leadership roles. Johnson has neither confirmed nor denied such ambitions, but his influence, discipline, and cross-cultural appeal make the idea plausible. Whether or not he ever runs for office, his impact on culture is already undeniable. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson represents more than fame. He represents adaptability in the face of failure, humility born from hardship, and the power of self-belief sharpened by rejection. His life moves in cycles: dream, collapse, reinvention, dominance, and each cycle has made him stronger, wiser, and more influential. From a child watching eviction notices pile up to a young man holding $7 after losing everything, to a global icon commanding billions in box office revenue. Johnson's journey is not the story of overnight success, but of relentless evolution. His past teaches resilience, his present embodies discipline and influence, and his future, whatever form it takes, promises continued transformation. In a world obsessed with talent alone, Dwayne Johnson's life proves that character, work ethic, and the courage to reinvent yourself matter far more. And that sometimes the greatest strength is not physical power, but the refusal to quit when the world tells you that you are finished.